So again, welcome everyone for joining us for how to find deals and money, right? For 2021. We talked to a lot of investors, and that's probably the two biggest challenges, right? Finding money and then finding the deals they get into. So we're going to get into it in a moment here, but thank you so much for being with us. And anything you want to say? We'll welcome here, Andressa.
No, yeah. I think that, one of the biggest questions that we get all the time is like, what comes first, right? The chicken or the egg, the deal or the money? And one thing that I'm going to share with you guys is that always be prepared because a good deal might come up in your lap tonight, tomorrow morning,
Mhm.
right? And then you don't have the money. So always looking to make sure you have either private lending in place or partnerships in place. So that is always like in motion because the
Mhm.
good deal always shows up and when you are not really expecting it.
Absolutely. That is so true. And in the chat box, just to engage with all of you, it's so nice for you to be with us. Just share with us where you're calling in from. Be nice just to get connected.
Yeah.
We see some familiar names, women that are in our community, in our membership now. So welcome everyone. But there's some names we don't know. So we'd love to meet you and see where
Yes.
you're from and all that good stuff. So hey, Elizabeth, how you doing? Hey, Ritu. Hey, Lori from New York. Got some a lot of East Coasters. Oh, we got a West Coast from Ellen. Hey, Ellen from San Diego. It's probably warmer there it is than here in the East Coast.
And anywhere.
I really anywhere. Ooh, Santa Barbara. That's even better. Love Santa Barbara. One of my favorite places.
Really, my people.
Oh yeah, I got you, Ellen. It's
Oh,
seven. Don't
Ellen.
tell us it's 70
Ellen.
degrees. You're
It's
rubbing it in. You're rubbing it in.
Indiana. We have people from all over.
I know it's very cool. Well,
Awesome.
cool. Well, good. Well, thank you so much for being here. And we're going to get rolling, right, Andressa?
Yes, we just
Okay.
found it through because we have a special guest tonight. As you
Yes.
know, we have Camilla Jeffs, and she's going to be talking about her top tips. And also a little bit, she just closed on a 90 unit. Not sure if we're going to have a lot of time to talk about it, but we're going to touch base on that too.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So for those who don't know us, welcome again. My name is Liz, and Andressa always says this is Andressa, right?
And I am Jessica.
On our podcast. So it's nice to meet you. We were first friends about 6 years ago. We met in a nutshell, became very good friends, and then we started partnering on various projects together, from flips to new construction. And during that path, we had a shared love for learning and growing and developing ourselves. And we said, it'd be great to get a community of women together to do this with others.
Our
We,
monthly meetings at Panera Bread.
yeah, at our
That's
monthly
where it
meetings,
started.
just the two of us. And we couldn't find anything, so we created something. And our mission and our passion is to empower women to live a financially free and balanced life. That's what we're up to, and that's what we focus on with everything that we do. My background in particular, real quick, is my background in various areas from 16 years of investing. From Duplex was my first project, and then we've done anything and everything in between, from new construction to commercial to residential. Mostly right now, our focus is multifamily, larger apartment building complexes is our focus right now. However, I'm getting into what my goal, one of my goals for 2021 is actually to get into some vacation rental
Yes,
projects. So I'm really excited about that because that's it feels good to be new in something again. So that's me.
I love that because I wanna go to a vacation.
Oh, and I'm also a mom. I'm a mom and a wife and a family member and all that good stuff, right? The multiple roles all of us wear. So I'm much more than just
Absolutely.
what I just said, but in terms of real estate, that's my background.
Awesome. And I am in dress. I started investing in 2012. I have experience with full gut renovations to building new construction, multiple projects at the same time, around like 15. That's usually my average. I also have experience with short-term rental when short-term rental was not fancy. I started in
Mhm.
2012 actually with short-term rental. I have managed projects from 100 grand to $1 million in construction budget. So I have a lot of, layers. I am a mom. I am a single mom. So for all the single moms that, other people that come from different countries that don't speak English as your first language. That's me. That's me right there. So let me tell you a little bit about the community, because we have a lot of people coming from different places, and sometimes they don't know that one thing existed, right? One thing leads to another. Liz and I, when we started, we're like, how can we start this? So we started with a podcast where we called the Real Estate Investor Show, where we interview only women, successful women in real estate, and they give like great tips about their niche. How did they get started and how did they become successful? So you can check that out. We have about closer to 150 interviews. So it's just a great resource, which is free too. Meetups, we have investor meetups across the country, 30 plus, and we also expanding a lot right now in Canada. So check out those meetups. They were in person. Now with COVID, they are all virtual. So good for you, because you, again, you also have more content, more free content, and also you can network with folks where in places that you want to invest. And we have our Facebook community, which is where you are right now. We have a lot of experienced investors here, and I look at this community as my sounding board when I have something, right? Because we are always learning something in different areas. When I have something that I've never heard before, I put it there because I want to leverage the experience that this community has. So use it. And we have our real estate investor membership. We're going to talk a little bit about it later on. Women were asking for a roadmap. They were tired and they really wanted to get to financial freedom. So that's why we put the membership together to really support women to create steady income to live life on their own terms.
Yes, very cool. Um, so we are going to start. Jess and I are going to start with our tips,
Yes.
and then move from there. So, and we will take questions probably after we talk about deals. Maybe we'll take a couple of questions when it comes
Yeah.
to this topic. We'll do our top deals, top tips for finding deals, and then we'll do top tips for finding money.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with you, Andres. I'll do a little like Q&A here, like we'd like to do back and forth, right? That's our
Sounds
favorite.
good.
Andres and I just go back and forth. What would you say is your top tip when it comes to finding deals, especially as we move into 2021?
Hands down for me is driving for dollars, or I like better walking for dollars. So driving for dollars is basically going around the neighborhood that you're looking to invest and observe a lot. Houses that are distressed, like newspaper. I like right now, for example, over here on the East Coast, that it's it just snowed a couple of days ago. So the houses that still dirt, still not clean in the front, that tells me that there's something, right? Either you don't have a good neighbor or that house is vacant. Is really there's nobody there. So I look for those deals. What I like a lot about walking for a dollar instead of driving for dollars is because when we drive, right, we always train our eyes to look in one direction. When I walk for dollars, I go against. And I'm telling you, in my neighborhood, when I do that, I was like, I never saw this house before. How the hell did I miss this? Because I drive, on the right side. But when you walk opposite way, you're gonna see different things. This is the method that I have found majority of the great home run deals that I came across. So that's my number one.
I love it. I love it. So in terms of my number one, something that people don't think about a lot. So depending on what kind of deals you're looking for, obviously, your strategy might have to shift a little bit, obviously. If you're looking for mobile home parks, it's going to be a different strategy. I don't even know what that strategy is, to be honest. It's not a niche that I really am knowledgeable of. What I do know a lot about and how we've found a lot of our projects over the years is more multifamily, 10 plus units, I'd say. And people always talk about LoopNet and how deals go to die on LoopNet, right? It's like the ugly stepsister, if you will. ugly something. But regardless, it's just people often, really don't even look there because they're like, I'm going to look here. Literally, this thing has been combed over, passed over. Everyone's touched it, so to speak. Here's why I like LoopNet and how we've actually used LoopNet to our benefit is that if you go to an area and say you want to invest, you want to buy a multi in Atlanta, Georgia, I would go on there, I'd search Atlanta, Georgia for all the properties that are listed there. So why I would do that is to actually network with commercial brokers who focus on those areas.
Mm.
And, especially if they're paying for themselves to get to the top. So if a commercial brokers actually have some skin in the game and they really want to get noticed, that tells me that they're serious. That tells me this is a commercial broker. Actually, I want to meet. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best and the nicest to work with, but it means that they're actually taking their business very seriously. They're not doing this like on the side. And it might be somebody to network with. We have networked with a handful of commercial brokers over the years, just with this strategy. And it's actually yielded not so much the deals that are on LoopNet, but that next deal, that next opportunity, that next 12, 15 unit, 20 unit, 30 unit. And you have to really build relationships with them. What I also will say, because I could probably talk all night about this topic, what I'd also say, another just a very quick tip to close this point out, is that when you call commercial brokers, all right, you got to remember they want to know you got to be taken seriously. They want to know, are you going to close this deal? Are you going to close any deal that I present you with? That's really what they care about. They're asking you questions so that they can vet you to know whether or not you're going to close. Just know that going in, they could be a little tough at first, especially if you're like, I want to buy a large multifamily. And they're like, oh, how many deals have you done? I haven't done any. And then you talk about that you don't really have the resource, you just got to be taken seriously. So just have that, mind frame before you go into the call, and just know that they're going to be vetting you, and they can be vetting you hard, especially if they're a very go-getter and there's somebody who's like, very noticeable on like a website like that, because they're paying to get noticed. They want the right buyers to be coming too. So just, again, not a reason not to call them or network with them. Just be on your A game and know that they're going to be vetting you.
Yeah, and vet them too.
Yeah, and vet them too,
Yeah,
So
close those available deals. How about you? How many did you close this type the last 6 months?
exactly.
So that's the same questions.
Absolutely. So, but it's a long-term relationship. That's been finding deals. There's so many different ways to obviously find them. We have found most of our deals, the majority of our deals, by building network, building relationships, building network, because that's just who my husband and I are. So we're naturally going to go around that style. Other people have done well with so many other strategies. So again, not one size fits all. I would say though, just to close this topic up, and we'll get to the next one here, and unless there's questions, I would say you need to employ at least 3 to 4 strategies. When the market's really hot, you can't just go in on one strategy. So if I said, I want to buy vacation rental in XYZ community, I would network, because that is my go-to strategy. I would probably do a few other things though, too. There's no way that I'm only going to try to just network with people, because I know it's a hot market. There's a lot of competition. When competition's high, you got to try like 3 to 4 or 5 different strategies to get the right opportunities. So I'll just close that out unless you want to add something too on that, Andressa.
No, we have a question about Shanita is asking if we invested in Radnor, PA. I have not. Have you, Liz?
No, I haven't. I know Radnor. It's not too far from me, but no. Yeah, I mean, and you got to know your market, and that's a whole other topic, and you got to know what these deals go for so you can move quickly. That's the other piece to this.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's one important thing though. Before you call a broker, you've got to do your homework first on that market.
yeah,
You've got to know the
absolutely.
average based on the market, what is the average as is price, what's the average, sales price if you're looking to rehab, or if you're looking to hold, what is the rental price. Do your homework and then confirm this information by asking a lot of questions from the broker.
Absolutely.
To see what's going on. But the homework is essential, because they're going to be talking about like, oh, this property is closer to X, Y, and Z hospital, which is always a great thing.
Yep.
So you've got to, know your area. It's really like doing your homework, like you're studying for a test.
Yep.
Understand where are the major boundaries, the invisible boundaries, where, if you cross the street is you are in somewhere else in a war zone or something. So do your homework before you call.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so let's we'll get one question here, and then we'll go to money. I heard it say that you don't need to personally know the market if it's a hot market. Is that true?
Mm. Well, I'll say you want to.
Luna, you can go for it. You can answer.
I want to define for based on my criteria what that market is, if that fits my criteria. When people say, oh, that's a hot market, that's a hot market for who? For buyers or for sellers?
Right.
Right? So you've got to do your due diligence no matter who says what. Because I don't know if they have, when realtors say, oh, this is a great location, what is great for that
Yeah.
person, right? So I want to verify by myself,
Yep.
information, if that
And
makes
not to keep on that, just one quick thing is that you have to be wary of hot markets. To on Jess's point, what's hot, but also my favorite markets are the sub markets, not the hot market. It's like the markets that are within that half hour to 45 minutes to an hour radius of whatever's, if they're on a hottest market list, that you're too late to the party, really, to be honest with you.
outside the bubble, right?
You're outside, yeah, outside the bubble. So keep that in mind. If it's like the hottest market list, not that you can't get great deals like in Austin, I'm sure you can. I don't know that market. I just know it's a hot market or was a hot market. I honestly don't know because I don't study it. We don't invest there. But if I was going to invest there, I'd look on the outside of Austin, if that was me, so to speak. So again, just think about that too. Hot market doesn't always mean you're going to get the best deal. So you got to be mindful of that. So, all right, let's get some money. And because then we got more to do and we got Camilla, we got lots to do here. So money is a great topic. Why don't you start, Andressa? What is your top tip on finding money?
Networking is always a great thing, right? So if you're looking to find private money lenders, you've got to I usually say, this is my tip: hang out where they are hanging out, right? So if you're looking to where is the people that donate stuff? What is
like charities?
Charities,
like charities,
for example, right? So right now we're not going to any charity event or anything.
Yeah.
So, but there are online charity events. It's all about the networking, but intentionally networking where the folks that you're looking for hang out.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for, blue collars, if you're looking for very specific folks, where do they hang out right now? Is there a Facebook group for those folks that they're hanging out? That's where you're gonna go. If you gotta learn how to play golf, so that will be. So I will. The point is network specifically where online where those folks are, and there are Facebook communities that are very specific niche. So that's fine.
I love it. And I really want to encourage, and I've done a few videos on this. You're actually not finding money. You're providing an investment opportunity. So even just think, obviously I wasn't good, we can't name the session that because it's way too wordy, but really finding money is really, you're offering an opportunity. You're finding money. Now that could be traditional financing. That could be private money. That could be lots of creative financing, but just from the perspective of, if you're actually going after private money, you're providing an opportunity. So that's just one quick lesson or way of being. I would encourage you to think about and kind of, have a framework. My other tip is because I'm coming from a private money perspective. That's how we've really grown our business is really working with others and partnering with them, both from a lender side and an equity side. I would say networking, to take Andressa's point even another step further, it's a network with self-directed IRA companies and events. So there's a list, I think it's on Bigger Pockets, of like 40 or 50 self-directed IRA companies. Now you need to vet them, but they hold forums, events all the time. And who goes to these? People who have money with this company in their self-directed IRA. What do you think these folks are looking for? If their money is in a self-directed IRA, they're very open to investing in real estate. So these are private investors, passive investors, if you will, that are looking for active investors. I would go to those events, even if it's online. I would go to Facebook communities that have a community of self-directed IRA people, custodians. This is money. These folks are looking to put it with active investors. This could be from a lending side. We have worked with flips, new construction. Private lenders are great for that strategy. It's short term. We have people who've invested their self-directed IRA into long-term projects, 5 to 7 years in our apartment complexes. So self-directed IRAs actually could be used for either as a lender or as an equity partner. So highly encourage you. I'm not going to tell you all the, self-directed IRAs. There's a lot of good ones out there, but network, go to their events as somebody who's looking for that, because that's your customer in essence, if you're looking for another creative way to find money. Just something that most people don't do. And I always share it as a great idea, something that we've done.
Yeah, and one thing that we always say, right? Find a deal, the money will follow. If you have a great deal on your hand, never find any issue in order to close that deal. Don't get me wrong, you might have to partner up with somebody that you're gonna share your profit on it, but a great deal doesn't disappear.
No, absolutely. So really quick, before we get to our, as we keep moving through here, just share in the chat box one thing that you heard that you're going to use. Because again, everything that Andressa and I do with everything that we're up to, from our podcast to our membership to our meetups, we really want to encourage change, and we really want to encourage action, and not just like this big action, but like a micro step. Research three self-directed IRA companies that I can start to network with. Or whatever it is for you, but something that you've heard so far. We want you to take what you're hearing and learning. And this is not just us, but everywhere, and to say, what one thing can I do with this? What one thing can I employ here? And that's the best thing you could do. So network, awesome.
And the reason why we ask that, guys, is just because otherwise you get so many things and you get overwhelmed. So focus on one thing that you're committing to do this week in order to move you forward.
Awesome. Very cool. I just invested in a syndication with my husband's self-directed IRA. I've learned
right
about
for dollars.
Very cool. Oh, good. Hi, Marjorie. I've learned about the self-directed IRAs from your husband, Matt. Okay. Well, he knows a few things about it.
True.
Yeah. We're networking. All right, cool. Awesome. We want to keep you moving towards that action, because that's what we're all about. So Camilla looks like she's joined us, but we have a few things to share before we get to her great tips.
Yes.
We just wanted to also mention briefly and just share how excited we are that our enrollment's still open for our membership. And just wanted to share a few things about that, because it's closing tomorrow, 6 o'clock, right, Andressa?
Yes, we're closing tomorrow. It's just going to open again in June next year.
Literally 6 months. So we thought, as we close out this great topic and finding deals and finding money, we also wanted to share what we're up to here, because we're just, very, very passionate and excited about it. And we're just going to give you a quick bird's eye view and then get to Camilla really quick.
Yes.
So we got 3 parts to share with you, 3 parts that are, that are kind of like, in essence, the pieces of our membership. And I'm going to talk about a couple, and I'm going to give the floor to Andressa. So the financial freedom roadmap, and this is good stuff for you to think about. You're somewhere, all of you on this call are somewhere on a roadmap of becoming financially free and living a balanced life. That is our mission. So what we did actually is we created a self-assessment, because, so many times, Andressa and I were talking earlier today, and we were like, when we put this together, we were frustrated with what is out there right now. So many times you go to these people, workshops, call it whatever you want, but you just get flooded with information, flooded with data. And the point here is that you really want to have specific data where you are on your path. And that's what we've come up with a self-assessment and then custom stages. We actually have 4 stages along the path of financial freedom. So that's what you get, and that's what you're getting, dripped content specific to your stage. You don't have to start at stage 1 if you're not there. We have a lot of women in our program, in our membership, that are actually scaling their business, right? They might have 10 units and they're looking to go bigger and better. Are there passive investors that they want to learn more about the active side so that they can invest with active investors? All different types of women. So that's something we're very excited about, and something that will help specifically where you are. On-demand training, we love this, because we are we're putting this together from our own brains, and also like the best of the best of the best that are out there. So we have core training that we encourage you to dig deep. We have a lot of worksheets, not a lot. We have very specific worksheets to help you really get to where you are and where you want to go. Not just crap like what goal do you want, but like we unravel a lot with you. So some exercises that make you think and express. We do have 2 videos. These are dripped 1 a month, not overwhelming, 1 a month. really, and we focus on those three areas: investing, business, and self-care, which is super cool. And our master classes, which we have one a month. It's live, and we bring on this like rock star lady who knows a ton about what she's talking about. We just had Anna Kelly on with creative financing. The next month, January's is all about learning about your personality assessment, which is the
I
next
love it.
piece, here. And then we're adding to this, but we have a really, really great foundation. The whole point of this is to get resources and tools. We had a meeting last week with some new partners of ours, potential partners of ours, that we're going to be offering some, just everything we're doing is like, okay, how can we offer more and do more for the women in this membership? The other piece of this, really quick, I'm going to give the floor to Angessa, is this personality assessment. And that's free to everyone that's part of our membership. And the point of this is not just who cares, like you're an extrovert or an introvert, but quite honestly, if you ever take a personality assessment and you're a real estate investor, this is a value to you, because you could start to say what team makes up the right components, right? So I highly encourage you, whether it's this one or another one, whatever, take something and have the people you're looking to partner with take it. And that's what we've done here. So it like really encourages this common language, so women can start working together. The one that's the analytical woman can start working with the more extroverted women, and they can really come together and build something beautiful. So that's what we have there, and you get access to that for free.
Awesome. And moving forward, if you guys have any questions, just put on the chat. We can answer here or later on. The second portion that Strive members only will have is the monthly live events. And that's when it's just my favorite part, because you guys get to, have access to us, but not just us, but all like the minds and experience of other women. So office hours is once a month with Liz and I. And the mastermind, Liz and I have been masterminding for the past 5 years.
Long time.
And it's been a long time. It's every month that we mastermind with another group of women. And it's been really not just in our personal life, in our business, but in our personal life too. Mastermind, I feel that they can see my blind spot, but I can't, right? And it is just leveraging everybody's experience. There are all the eyes are going to be on your challenge, on your goal. And I have been able to resolve issues just because I was part of a mastermind. So the mastermind is included on the membership. And then next is our people always ask us about mentorship and accountability. So we have created pods. Pods are group mentorships that happen from January to June, and then another one starts from June to December. And they are very, very specific. We handpicked every single mentor for this upcoming year. And I cannot tell you how excited we are to work with those folks. It is not a chit chat. There's 2 calls a month. One is educational, the other one is accountability, and there is milestones to be hit. So this is just not like, oh, I will show up or I will not show up. This is something that will hold you accountable moving forward towards your goal. Let me share who we have for the upcoming year. Anna Kelly, we just spoke with her. To be quite honest, if you want to have Anna Kelly as your coach right now, you might have to wait like a couple of years down the road, because this woman is on fire. And we are very honored to call her a friend, to call her a business partner for here. She gracefully really put together amazing content for you guys. And this is like her her bio. I don't need to go over it, but just check it out. Other one is Alicia. Alicia is a former Rich Dad Poor Dad coach. You can go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Good. And she's going to talk about business, right? Real estate. You're running a business in real estate. And if you don't treat like that, you're going to work forever as your job. And Alicia, really, like, Alicia is Liz coach, right? And she's doing
It's amazing.
amazing. It's really remarkable if you get to experience to be with her in anything. It is just, you are gonna get out. We're like, oh my gosh, what just happened? That's how good she is. And then next we have Deborah. For folks that are just getting started, really not confident about what comes first here and how should I proceed, Deborah is going to guide you through every single step. And the next person is me.
This crazy,
Me,
crazy lady.
this crazy, crazy lady. She's going to talk about construction. I love construction. That's the portion that I like the most. And I have learned all my lessons that cost me a lot of money that I'm going to share with you guys. What can you put in place? It doesn't matter if it is one house that you're doing or if you're doing 15, 20 at the same time. That's where my thought process it is. You're going to put process in place right now in order to handle more if you want to handle more, but you're not going to be a slave of your construction. And most important, you're going to be confident that your job is moving forward and you will make a profit on it,
Hmm.
because we're going to put things in place. So that's those are the pods. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's there.
So,
I did.
and then is there's a delay for me
Oh, the
here.
delay. Okay, sorry.
Yes. Don't worry.
You're like, go ahead, Liz. I'm there.
The next thing is our community. We created a specific Facebook for the members. We want to have like-minded folks within the same group.
Yep.
And the deal room. The deal room, right now, the deal room is where people can either promote their deals or find deals and partners. Liz and I have a lot of things that we are preparing for the future for to
Really
make
cool.
this even better. So we cannot share right now with you guys, but it really we want to have like a stop shop for women to come and shop within our community in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it's taking a little delay.
The fast action bonus.
Yes, the fast
Yeah.
action bonus. Go ahead, Liz. There's a delay on my end. So the fast action bonus. Here's what I'm gonna share with you guys about this. Every time that I start a new year, I want to have like a global vision of how it's gonna look like. I am not, as Liz says, I'm just not a real estate investor only. I have multiple layers. I am a mom, I am a daughter, I am a sister, and I want to live a financially free and balanced life. So I want to see my life as a whole. So I developed here what I call the life book, investor life book, where there are templates that you can literally print out this week, because I wanted to have this prepared before the beginning of the year. And
Just like
really
30 pages of just awesomeness, really.
yeah, that's what I like, and that's what I want to focus on. What is my overall goal in different areas? What is, my vision? And at the end of the year, you got to debrief what worked, what didn't work. But I put it in a way that it's organized, that you can take it in the middle, in the through every 3 months if you want, and reassess and look where you're at. It's just not like a piece of paper that you wrote your overall goals. I encourage you to really create action steps there, not just the goals itself. So just very quick here, here's what you're gonna get when you sign up right away: the roadmap with custom stages, on-demand training, the live events that we spoke about, resources and tools that we're gonna continue adding, mentorship and accountability, a community support, and the life book. And by the way, all past trainings, you're gonna get that too, that are already on our community. So for those of you that are thinking, okay, how much is this per month? It's 237 per month. What Liz and I have done here is that there's a 13-month commitment for folks that want to pay the whole amount. You get 2 months free. But if you want to pay in a monthly basis, that's totally fine too. That's what we did over here. So go ahead, Liz. So this is one of our members, Christine, and she's just saying over here, just 1 month, with all the live events that she was able to be part of and the knowledge that she gained, was worth the investment. So if you think about your your business, your how much is a deal worth to you, and what you're gonna get, the contacts that you're gonna get, is really we have paid so much for it, but different ways. We really created a place where women can come and really get the support that they need to take their business to the next level. And we're gonna add more to it as we go,
Yep.
but that's what we are offering it right now, and the doors close tomorrow. So, oh, we have one more detail here that I want to share with you guys. Oh, and the link is therealestateinvestor.com/membership. We have a 30-day money back guarantee. If you are in the fence, or if you have questions, we're more than happy to answer. But if you want to experience it, on Tuesday we have our mastermind. So if you want to join and just check it out, and if you feel that this amazing community is not for you, we'll return your money back in 30 days.
Yep.
That's pretty
Absolutely.
much it.
So without further ado, we're going to bring Camilla on here, and she is part of our membership as well. She's been one of our meetup leaders. She's on our podcast. She's just a awesome all around person. She's been investing for 18 years, and she shared here as a female real estate investor for 18 years. I wish I had something like this, that something like this has been around when she first started. Helps you discover where you are and tailors your content to exactly what you need now. Therein lies the brilliance. She said it better than we did. So Camilla, come on here, Miss Camilla. So it's so nice to have you on.
Hey.
We're gonna so again, I'm gonna stop sharing here and bring Camilla on. And so again, ladies, as we get into Camilla's portion here, it's therealestateinvestor.com/membership. Check it out, see if it's for you. 30 days. If not, you can have your money back, but we'd love for you to join. Doors close 6 o'clock until 6 months from now. So we just want to make sure everyone's clear on that. So Ms. Camilla, she's been passionate about financial education, building wealth for a long time here. She's got 18 years of experience, which is phenomenal. And you have such neat experience because you've done so many different things in this business, which a lot of people have not, right? And, in a lot of ways, you're getting into large apartment complexes, which funny enough, when we reached out to you, say, hey, can you be part of our bonus session? She just posted that she just closed on a 90 unit. And that was not the reason why we asked her, which is so completely ironic. I'm just like, did you know she just post? I'm like, no, oh my God. So we can even incorporate that a little bit. But she's so gracious. And what Camilla is really passionate about is helping other women too create wealth for themselves, and also, do it in the right way and do it in with ease. And she's got 5 kids, and she gets her kids involved in every project. If you follow her on Facebook, which I highly recommend that you do. So without further ado, Camilla, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. So excited to be here. You ladies are the best. And I stand by what I said in my testimonial there, that the InvestHER community, I mean, the fact that I posted a couple days ago and got so much love from the community, I mean, I'm just like on top of the world. I just felt the love. I feel so safe in your community and so happy to be part of it.
Well, we appreciate that. So Jess and I talked a little bit, at the beginning too, about our tips and ideas on finding deals and finding money. So let's get into your head. You just closed on a 90 unit. So I'm sure you're going to be like ready for the next one at some point. But not just 90 units, but in general, what has been like your top strategy? And share with the ladies too. Did you get started in single family and then kind of scale up? You want to just share briefly your trajectory, and then you could share your top tip for finding deals?
Yeah, you bet. Let me just quickly share my story. So started out living in a garage with my husband, pregnant with my first baby. And we didn't want to live in the garage. We didn't want to bring a baby into the world in a garage. So we're like, we need to do something different. And we met a woman at the time who was a realtor who suggested that we could buy a house because we had no money. We were very poor. We got married very young and had no money. And she said, well, you could buy a single family home and you could get in with really, really small financing that has a basement apartment and rent it out. And we thought, brilliant. So that's exactly what we did. So we did the house hacking strategy and it worked out perfect. And we lived there for almost free. And so we were now living in a house for less than what we're paying to live in a garage. And this house even had a pool in the backyard. And that was when we were like, okay, real estate got something to it, right? From there, we use the live and flip strategy. So that's the strategy where you find a fixer-upper and you move into it and live in a mess and fix it yourself, or you can hire out, right? It depends on what you do, but we were definitely DIYers to the max. Figure out things. So I'm the tile expert in the family, and I know how to drywall and like all that stuff. Like, we can do it. We did that and acquired many homes that way. So single family homes. Some we kept and rented, others we sold for a profit. And then we scaled to small multi. So purchased a fourplex, and I launched a property management company to manage all of the rentals as well. And then we tried regular flips as well. So we've done a lot. We did a lot of the smaller ones. So fast forward in 2019, I was like, I've had on my vision board to buy an apartment complex for a long time. It's been there for 10 years. And I said, okay, Camilla, this is the year. You're turning 40 in 2019. You have got to do this. And so I determined that I would buy an apartment complex for my 40th birthday, which was in September of that year. And so I worked and worked and worked. And buying an apartment complex is very different than purchasing a single family home. And I realized I couldn't DIY it. I couldn't do it on my own. I had to step out of my comfort zone, way out of my comfort zone, to get to that goal. And so the goal didn't come in the form of a general partnership at first, but it came in the form of passively investing. So the very first thing I did was invest passively into a multifamily syndication. So I started networking, educating. I spent several months educating, networking, and figuring out the business. And then I invested passively myself, so I could get the experience of being a passive investor and really understand the mindset and what challenges a passive investor would go through to part, because it was scary. I mean, investing in apartments is not a small dollar figure. It's at least 50,000, sometimes 100,000. So my first investment was that $50,000 amount. Okay. And I was terrified to, I remember hovering over my mouse at my computer, like, okay, I hope this
wired the money.
And it wasn't that I was worried about the partnership, the deal. I mean, all of that had been vetted, was solid. It's just that final step, that you're stepping into something unknown, and also giving over some control of your money. So I thought that was a very interesting experience to go through. So that helps me really empathize with brand new passive investors. And so that's where I really pivoted to become an expert at. And well, I'm not expert yet, right? But that's what my focus is.
See what woman does? Women that are listening, Camilla, you're just amazing. And I declare you an expert. Right? Because I've heard so many guys say, like, yeah, close on a 5-unit and I'm an expert on that. Yeah. I think that, you are so, and listen, ladies, we have this open relationship with Camilla. Camilla has been a member of ours. We already know her before. And she's just so humble and so gracious to how she presents herself. She's a badass, just summarizing it, right? She has 5 kids. 5 kids, right? So Camilla, you're just like super woman. One thing that I wanted to ask you, right? Do you believe, for a lot of women that are listening to us right now, they might not be looking for apartments right now, but do you feel that, like, finding deals, can they use the same strategy for the apartment complexes for smaller, or would you apply different strategies to find the deals?
Yeah, so finding deals has, right now, my favorite place or strategy for finding deals is relying on a partner. And I know that sounds like maybe I'm just passing the buck, but here's the thing. When I started educating about apartments and figuring out how to purchase an apartment complex, in order to find a deal, you have to be on some broker's like good side, right? You have to be in their face, in their back pocket, and they have to think that you are an expert and you're someone that's going to close a deal in order for them to pass you the back pocket, secret one that they're never going to get, that is the best deal, right? So in order to get the best deal, you have got to schmooze brokers, you've got to be talking to them all the time. And so I tried it. I totally tried it, and I hated it. It was not, I mean, I'm fairly introverted. I didn't like trying to position myself as, because I'm a newbie, right? But you have to position yourself not as a newbie or you're not going to get those deals.
Yeah.
So that was really challenging for me. And I think, maybe a couple of years down the road, I'll be able to get in there. But it's also every broker I talked to was a man. There are very few female brokers. And so, as a woman trying to step into this commercial space, trying to get to where I wanted to be, the wall felt very big to climb.
Yeah.
And so I kind of took a step back and thought, this is just really challenging and really hard. And it's not that not that I shy away from challenges, because obviously I'm getting places in my life, but it just didn't feel right. Like I wasn't happy. I wasn't enjoying it. It wasn't what I liked. So I decided that, when you look at a syndication, so if you're going to join an apartment, try and buy large apartments, there's 4 or 5 people on the general partnership, and each one should have a specialty. You have the acquisition specialist, you have investor relations specialist, you have an asset management specialist, you have there's all these different roles you can play. And for you to try and play every single role on that is not going to get you anywhere. You've got to specialize in something and then partner with someone else who has the opposite specialty of you. And so that's what I did. So in finding deals, I just said, what, I'm done trying to find deals. I tried that avenue, but I was finding a lot more success because simultaneously I was working on raising capital. And I was finding a lot more success because raising capital for me is a teacher mentality, and I love that, and I love educating people about how to invest, and that just really resonated with me. It felt natural, felt good to do it, and made me happy. Whereas the bird dogging, I was like, I hate selling myself, right? I can sell real estate all day, but selling myself is just.
But your point's so well taken. If, for ladies, because, the question is, how do I relate this to what I'm looking for? You may or may not be looking for a large apartment complex. You may be looking for a single family right now, or just any property to get going in terms of a rental. Camilla, you made such a great point that it could be used in that area too. In other words, if you are looking for that deal, and if something like networking, or yes, you have to become a little more comfortable in general, but also if it's just not your thing, partner with a wholesaler, partner with someone who's very assertive and aggressive. Usually the best people who find deals can be very they're just knocking on any doors. They don't care if they get no. It's like that classic. Now you can do it other ways, networking and easygoing. There's so many different personalities. I know that not the best, but I do know quite a bit about that. But really that assertiveness is someone who's going to go out there and drum the streets, or whatever that phrase is. So the point though, for you ladies listening, you can partner and build a team, whether you're looking for a single family home, or obviously it really does happen on a large scale, because large apartment complexes is not a one person opportunity. You have to play your role. So I don't want to dismiss how you can use the same strategy you just said for small deals, because you might be working with someone and be like, I'm great at this. What are they great at? Oh, you can find a deal. Great. I can manage it. I'm really good at project management.
Yeah. And one thing I just want to pick back on that, in order for that to happen, you've got to really come to Jesus time and say, I'm good at X, Y, and Z. And if you don't know what you're good at, as Camilla said, pay attention to how you feel. It didn't feel right. It's not something that you're do it with ease. So you gotta just acknowledge the things that you don't get pleasure out, or it doesn't feel quite right.
Yeah.
And then from there, that's where you start. And then from there, you find partners that really love to do the stuff that you don't. And that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, absolutely. How to analyze. So Jennifer, you're asking a question before we get to the finding the money, which is always a fun thing we were talking about earlier. Jennifer's asking how to analyze the syndication, benefits of passively investing in syndication.
Okay, so how to analyze a syndication. So in a syndication, if you're coming in as a passive investor, the analysis piece, I think I'm going to boil it down to be very simple, right? You can go down rabbit holes of all the different numbers and all the different things, and it depends on your level of sophistication in deals. But the metric that I like to look at the best is the equity multiple. And an equity multiple tells you over the course of the entire investment, what does whatever I put in, how much is that going to multiply? And so basically, what am I going to get in the end? So equity multiple, and often they'll be around 2x in 5 years. Sometimes they're a little bit less, sometimes they're a little bit more. It just depends on the deal that you do. So for example, if it's a 5-year, if it's projected to be a 5-year hold, you're going to put in 100,000, equity multiple of 2x, you're going to get 200,000 back, right? So your 100,000 plus another 100,000. So equity multiple is just a very simple way to analyze the deal. There's lots of different numbers to look at as well to understand the health of the deal, which is like the cash on cash return. But I don't, we could spend hours talking about that.
Yes.
So I'm just going to boil it down to something very simple for that one. And then as far as benefits of passive investing, one of the crazy things is that, I did a lot of single family investing. And then and some deals we did great on, some deals we didn't do so great on, and it was kind of a mix, But we invest passively in a syndication, and it was mind-boggling to me at the time when I first learned about it, that I could be making similar, almost the same returns as a passive investor as I did as an active investor. And so I was like, wait a minute,
Hold
I just
on.
spent all this time, muscles, skills, and I'm grateful for the time and muscles and skills that I built, because I think it's helped me to be where I am today. But I can just put my money somewhere and it's going to grow, and it will go while I'm sleeping. And so that's where I was like, okay, I definitely need to pivot to this space. And so, and I still invest passively, right? So I got that first passive investment, and now I'm getting, into my general partnerships, and at the more money I make, I'm just planning to shove it into those passive investing avenues. And so benefits is cash flow. You get regular cash flow, either monthly or quarterly. You get tax savings passed on to you because you are a direct owner in the property, so you get those tax savings. And often those tax savings are even better than single family because of they call it bonus depreciation. So they depreciate on a faster scale, and so you get a larger paper loss on your investment. And then appreciation, you make sure you invest in the right market, you're going to get some really great appreciation. And doubling your money in 5 years is pretty incredible.
Awesome. We have a quick question here. Not quick to answer, but let's go to that. Elizabeth, I love this question because a lot of people think the same way. Should we just keep that step of trying to be the person to find a deal if we are not extrovert? Or is it important to go through the exercise of learning that role, or should we just accelerate ourselves by specializing elsewhere and partnering early?
Great question. So my opinion is only my opinion. You might get other opinions. My opinion is I always believe in doing things yourself and figuring out if it's a good fit for you or not. Because one thing that you have to understand is if I did not do those steps, I would not have learned how to underwrite a large property, which is really important skill to get. Because in order to find a deal, you have to underwrite hundreds of deals. So I underwrote hundreds of apartment complexes. Also, like learning how to talk to brokers and how to pick up the call and like getting through that that anxiety, right? So I like,
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like I always live on the edge of anxiety. You know, I mean, there's something that's going on in my life that I'm like,
Keeping you awake.
yeah, I don't want to do this, and just nervous about it, but dang it, pick up the phone and make the call. It helps you. I think it helps you grow as a person and helps you understand the investment as a whole.
Mm.
So I do think you got to go through the mud, because once you get through the mud and you take a shower at the end and you're like, okay, yeah, I really didn't like that mud. I want to go and run through the flowers over here. That's fine. But I do think, my opinion is, you do need to do it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We want to transition to make sure we have time
Yes.
to talk about
Yes.
finding the money, which is a nice segue. So, and this strategy may have shifted for you, Camilla, over the years. How did you find the money when you were doing your house hacks? That was just you and your husband's own money? Did you use other people's money at that point, or was it just your own? And then when did you transition? Obviously now I'm sure with the 90 unit and your larger syndications, you guys do raise money, but just share with us a little bit about how finding money has evolved for you, and maybe your favorite strategy to share with the ladies here tonight.
Yeah, so finding money in the beginning, it was all us, right? I didn't know how to do it. I felt uncomfortable asking other people for their money. I felt like that we just needed to do our own thing. And so as we were scaling, we did it very slow, right? It wasn't we never did 10 properties a year, right? Just because we had not figured out how to use other people's money. We never used a hard money lender. We always did it ourselves. And so until we purchased a fourplex. When it was time to purchase the fourplex, I was like, oh, I'm going to take a peek at my bank account. We don't have enough, but I really think this is an important step. And so we did partner with someone, and we brought someone on as it's called a debt investor. So basically they gave us a loan, their money on loan, instead of being part of the deal and they get equity in the deal.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to structure it as that. And so that was fine. And that was I think it was $20,000. It wasn't a ton of money. And so that was my first experience in using someone else's money for a deal. Now, fast forward to jumping into large apartment complexes, and I knew that investors and training and educating investors would be important. I had to go through, I had to fix a mindset issue that I had. And Liz, you touched on this earlier in it. And the mindset was asking for people's money versus presenting an investment opportunity. And so the mindset that I really had to fix was that I don't need their money, right? If I come at it from a place of, oh my gosh, I need your money, I can't, I really need this money, then I present as desperate and unsure and not confident, but if you can change that mindset and you can say, I don't need your money, but you need what I have, right? You need this investment opportunity.
Yes.
And you're going to miss out if you don't take this step, right? Then that was the mindset issue that I had to do a complete 180 on, because remember, I was a DIYer, right? Everything myself, I rely on everything myself. So in order to get into apartments, I had to just do this complete 180 on, now you got to partner with people and you got to give up the control, because I like to control things and partner. So and then you asked, what's my number one tip? So the thing that's working very well for me right now is online marketing. So I started studying online marketing because when I wasn't good at networking until 2019. I didn't step out. Like, I literally thought I was the only woman that was doing real estate ever because I had gone to any events. I had not talked to anybody, and I had not met amazing people in this community, women to partner with. So I started networking, and my network was very small. I mean, I was one of those people on Instagram, I wouldn't connect with anybody unless you've been my very personal friend in real life. And so I had to change that as well. And I had to open up, and I had to be more transparent about life, which is scary, right? Especially as an introvert, it's very scary to be transparent and to start sharing your life, because when you think about people investing with you, A, they have to know you. And if you only know 50 people, you're not going to have success. B, they have to like you. And so you have to instigate that, right? Like no one's going to be knocking at your door saying, hey, Camilla, I want to know you. I want to like you, right? You have to put yourself out there. So, and then they have to trust you. And so there's that know, like, and trust factor. And so I had to be very methodical about building my network and building an email list and starting to post content online. And so of course, there's all the social channels, right? And I got overwhelmed quickly with every single social channel trying to post on it. And so I decided, all right, I'm going to focus in on one. So I'm going to give you a couple tips about LinkedIn. So I really like LinkedIn for attracting capital for this one reason, because the folks who are on LinkedIn and who are active on LinkedIn typically have higher salaries and have more discretionary income to be able to invest. Also, they have very demanding careers and jobs that they are in that they don't necessarily want to leave. My message is not about, hey, invest in real estate so you can leave your job, right? My message is invest in real estate so you can have a great retirement and income, and so you can diversify. Like you can't just rely on the stock market. You cannot rely on your 401k, your job to get you there. You must diversify. And so I've found a lot of success on LinkedIn. And the easiest way to get success is post every day, right? And well, I say every day, like 5 days a week, right? I'm not there on the weekends. I definitely believe in balance in my life, and I don't want to be online on the weekend. So every day every weekday, you're posting. And as you start to grow, it's slow at first. It's very slow at first. And you're like, you'll be going and be like, whatever, Camilla, you said post every day, and I'm getting like no traction. But the interesting thing is once you start posting every day, and then so you make a post every day, and then you go comment on 10 other people's posts. And that's your goal for the day. Okay, one post, comment on 10 other people's posts. Your post, anybody who likes or anybody who comments on your post, you go reply back to them and comment and like their thing, right? That's the algorithm. So I studied the LinkedIn algorithm, like how can I like really get this? But I could go forever about LinkedIn, and if anybody wants to talk more about it, about the strategies, but I just want to tell you a couple of the success stories I've had. I've had 3 posts that have gone to over 20,000 views on LinkedIn, which is very challenging to do. So, my average post gets about 2,000 views on LinkedIn. And the only way it can go viral like that is if lots of people post and comment and like and things go like that. And so I figured out the way to do that. And from those, I literally got an investor from a post I made that one of his friends liked. And then he liked my post. And then he reached out to me in the direct messages and said, hey, I want to talk to you. I'm interested in investing in things. I've got a whole bunch of money and I need to invest it somewhere. Can I talk to you? Like, yeah.
I can make some time to talk to you.
Right. Stranger on the internet. We talked, and he invested $100,000 into my latest deal. And it wasn't even like we hadn't even built a really long relationship, but things like that can happen when you are consistent in your posting. And so that's been very beneficial. So that's my top tip. And my second tip is very similar. Liz, you kind of said network with folks who are in similar lanes. So don't spend time networking with other multifamily investors as much. You can network with them, but they're doing exactly what you're doing. And my audience is not them. They're not going to invest in my deals. They may help, percolate what I'm doing, but they're not going to invest in my deals. And so I'm finding people like financial influencers. So who's out there? Who's a financial influencer? And I'm getting on their radar and getting on their podcast and trying to get in front of their audience so that I can share about my strategy, because I have a very small niche in investing, and people don't know about it as much in the general world. Like, I mean, us here in real estate, of course, we all know about investing in it, but in the general world, we don't do that. So So those are two of my top tips for learning for attracting capital and getting people to invest in your game.
Awesome.
I love that. And it's also, you remind us about is like playing the long game, right? So it's like, you don't like, you start sharing on LinkedIn and they like expect this like quick result. But what you did was like, you tried something, you expanded, you learned, you tweaked. It's a long game, right? And I think real estate investing is a long game, and you got to remind yourselves that, ladies, because sometimes we want things yesterday.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't happen that way. I don't care what podcast you listen to that they're like they become millionaires overnight. I don't know anyone like that. It just doesn't happen that way. But the little things. So I love that. I love your suggestions.
Right. And it's definitely a momentum game too,
Yeah.
right? So the fact I just closed this 90 unit, I blasted it all over social media. I posted about it in several Facebook groups. I posted about it on LinkedIn. And the response to that, I grew my email list by over 100 people because they wanted to invest with me. They were excited about what happened. And so just like it's definitely a momentum game, right? And the first deal, it's not like I raised millions and millions of dollars on that deal. I've raised about 1.6 so far, but the trajectory that I'm on, I'm feeling very confident in the trajectory. And but it took a year. It took a year for me to build those systems and processes and consistency and to get over myself and just put myself out there. I mean, it definitely took a full year to get to where I am. So I'm not a fan of anybody thinking that this is an overnight success. I mean,
No.
I've been doing real estate for 18 years, right? And finally,
And you
I'm
started in a
very lucky.
garage. I didn't realize you and your husband started a garage. I forgot that part of your
There we
story.
go.
I'm like, oh my God. God bless you. So we appreciate we have a lot of good questions too. We want to be mindful of everyone's time
Yeah.
and your time, Camilla. I'm sure a lot of the moms on the call have kids to put down to bed. I know I do. And I know Andressa does. I'm sure Camilla with her 5 little ones. Thank you so much for being on, Camilla. Thank you for sharing your tips. Like literally, like this is what I just did to raise this amount of money. Like I love that because it's real, it's authentic. It's not like something you tried 10 years ago. So thanks for being on. Thanks for being part of our community and our membership. And ladies, for do something, just two takeaways. Do something with what you learned. One thing, do something with it. And if you're on the fence or if you want to join us on our membership, we would love to have you. We're very passionate about it. And that's why we want to just give another shout out to it tonight before our doors close tomorrow. So it's 6 o'clock, therealestateinvestor.com/membership. Join us. We're excited. You connect with a lot of great ladies, me and Andressa, Camilla, and just lots of wonderful women. But regardless, do something with what you learned tonight. Andressa, anything else that I missed?
No, that's it. I see a lot of questions about passive investing, and that's what the things that Liz and I are putting together
Yes.
for our members has all to do with passive investing.
Yeah, we'll be
Those
tapping
things
into
like-
Camilla too for that.
Yes, yes. So stay tuned. We're just really building a solid place for all of you. Either you want to be active or passive, you have a place to come and find great people to do business with and find really reliable deals to invest on. So that's all I have to say for tonight.
Camilla, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you. So fun to be here.
And we're going to also post this recording as well for ladies that missed it. So thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you.